farming still, but not going to be as effective in the team fights.
So what DK needs to do with the Radiance up is basically outlast the enemy lineup. Very, very hard to do against PL. Very, very hard to do against the initiation power of S4. Basically, your entire team, or a big majority of your team, have to stay alive and a healthy HP most of the time. So having things like mech, pipe, and just good good movement like Force Staff, those items are effective. Here comes the Radiance, and I just want you guys to kind of memorize this time right now, 29:30-ish, and see how Burning will accelerate farm, and let's see if you could get up to some big items.
Super
He needs cards.
Looking for a jump mid lane. He's going to self-stun soon, and he is. And he's revealed, but there's not a whole lot of backup. And it looks like in the end, they'll just retreat.
Yeah, what do you think Burning's looking for next? Are we staying at Manta style, or are we going to go straight to Heart? How defensive do you think he feels?
He's just that he's so prone to getting ganked. With Bulldog now about to pick up a Scythe device, and I mean, what does he need? 2,700 gold? A little bit more. Okay, he needs like 1,400 here. But once he gets the Scythe, I mean, I think he's got to tank up at this point. At the same time, they do have an Alchemist. Super's got 3k gold. Maybe he goes towards straight into an Assault Cuirass. I think for me, like, Burning's just going to tank up and then try to go for some damage. But can the other players actually be impacts right now? That's my big question, because you look at Dai, Arcane Boots and 700 HP. RTK has just been silent this game since a pretty decent early start. He's now 1-3. And then you know S4 is going to be a big problem for them. You know EGM is going to be hard to kill, and Song can turn fights. You know Alliance's supports will do a lot. I'm actually wondering if DKs can or will do anything.
I mean, you have a Rubik, so there's always a propensity for some high-level play. If you look at the skill build, he knows that he's going to be very, very defensive on the backline, even taking up no field. That's a drastic strategy they're going for. Just pure defense on everything. Burning says, no tank for me. I'm going straight damage. Here comes the Blades of Alacrity.
So either Yasha or Diffusal Blade is going to be next in line for him. And with that, if supports do get isolated, you can purge off Ghost Scepter if Ake or EGM want to pick one up, and they can definitely get destroyed. But still, he's going to be squishy. Still, if Alliance isolate him, Spectre's tanky, but he ain't that tanky yet.
All right, so let's talk about Radiance on Burning. It's an item that we've been harping for quite a bit. What exactly does it do in this game, and comparatively, should he have gone for another item? You know, looks like we have Alchemist self-stun.
No, throwing on the illusions there, super.
Yeah, so actually, to kind of paraphrase what Ben Wu has said, one of our analysts up front, is that Radiance actually pretty decent against PL, because if you just kill one PL illusion, they just keep repopulating. But if you kind of equally and, you know, unfortunately slowly killing them, the ones that are going to be popping out alive is going to be weaker and weaker. So it's okay as an item against PL. It's okay against the Blink Dagger as well. So here comes S4.
He's hunting for a kill, but he's really out on his own here, and looks like just simple zoning and harassment. No, he's jumping. He's gonna pull in QQQ. Where's the backup though? Are they recoiling anyone in? Ake looking to go. In the end, it looks like he's gonna live. Super throwing out the stuns on the illusions. Now a hook off the mark was RTK. That could have been a big kill right there. Lasso down. Batrider was in the river, but RTK just couldn't land it.
He had BKB. He should be okay.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, with BKB, not an easy kill.
Yeah. But again, if nothing happens, DK says, all right. I mean, they're losing still. They're losing quite a bit. If you look at the goal graph, it's not going the other direction. The game's not definitely getting easier, but it's giving Burning more and more time for him to have that one Hail Mary team fight where he has, ideally, an Ultra Kill or something like that.
Yeah, if they somehow secure that. But Haunt's on cooldown now, so he's got 80 seconds to go. S4 only 30 until the next Blink Lasso. Hook's cooling down to RTK. To me, it's still about RTK. He's got to find a way to have a big hook, a big impact. I just feel like without that, Alliance have the perfect lineup to just kite Super. Burning can't join the fights for now. Where are those Clockwork Hooks? When are we going to see them come out?
Those Clockwork Hooks have to be reserved defensively. If they initiate, they die. I think DK has one team fight left in them. If they throw a team fight, or just lose it like 3-2 or something, 3-1, they will get racks. And once you get racks, it gets so much harder. S4 looking up, Flying Vision, looking for Super. He sees it on front. He's going to get for Super. Super gets pulled back, and he is going to get melted. He uses a mech for himself as well. That means even if he buybacks...
That's Roche. Alliance going straight towards the Roche pit. No buyback on the Alk. And DK with no Haunt for 30 seconds. No way to contest. Oh. Great pickoff by... I mean... Does he ever miss an initiation? It's like every time he gets Batrider, every single Blink Lasso is a kill.
It's so easy for them because there's nothing on the front line. Again, DK, when they're defending these towers, it takes them so long to kill them because Acid Spray is not Illuminate. It does not blow up that creep wave, which allows S4 to slowly just wait and see a good opportunity. He does, and he goes in for the kill. And now Aegis goes on Loda.
And now an Aegis to Loda, and now the game gets exponentially harder for Team DK. Aegis up on Loda, he can split push more aggressively. He's got the Manta, he's got the Diffusal too, and the next item is where it really starts to hurt. Probably going to skip the Boots of Travel. He may sell his Magic Wand at some point. Look towards him to pick up something like a Butterfly, maybe a Heart here. Either way, he's going to be a pain in the rear.
I think he should go HP. I mean, the way that Spectre wants to play these team fight is to outlast you, and of course having HP on Loda would
help you outlast her.
Yeah, outlast her. So.
It also really negates that Radiance burn, so all your illusions will still be pretty healthy. Even if they replicate and they're not at full HP from Juxtapose, they'll still be pretty healthy. And here we go. They've isolated RTK, trapped in the jungle. He's going to go down. RTK falls, and Alliance moves one step closer to taking game 3. There's not many pickoffs left in DK.
Yeah, I mean, Han was also used in that team fight. I think Burning's being very trigger happy. He's trying to use those Han to help out his allies, but without Han on this high ground defense, I don't think they can hold it.
Yeah, there's no Han for 100 seconds. There's no lasso, but who needs it? Here comes the siege. Here comes the full might of the Alliance onto the high ground, working quickly on the tier 3. There's a Glyph. Super preps with the Acid Spray. Loda chilling like a villain. Now he'll back off. He does get stunned. But they'll keep on sieging this out. They know the Haunt's down. They know DK are not nearly as strong right now. It's getting closer and closer. Alliance, they can taste it. You win this, you're in the top 3, and you have the inner track to the grand finals. One best of 3 away from claiming it. Alliance not done yet. DK still hanging on. They will fight to the bitter end. This game means so much to both teams. And once more, they're going to look to break the high ground.
S4?
As always, it should start with a Firefly Lasso. It's ready. If he gets this, probably Rex.
You want to go for MMY, you want to go for Super. There is buyback available now on Super. Are they going to make the jump? Yes, they will. They find him, they lasso him back, and Clockwork disengaged perhaps, but he gets hexed. What a hex coming up from Admiral Bulldog. Easy cleanup. Burning huge trouble right now. Does he have buyback? Oh no, he's going to get picked up. Force that forward. Somehow Burning still alive. My goodness. They hold. They hold.
They do hold, and actually they didn't use that much for it. There was no Haunt there. It's still cooling down. Clockwork's in buyback. They did throw 1 life away, and Alliance lost nothing. So, yeah, sure, they hold. Alliance, though, are going to farm your jungle. You still can't really leave your base. There's no Roshan to take. Still Alliance in a good position, but hey, DK's showing some fight in them for once, which they've really been lacking this game.
That's one of those team fights where you go like, oh, okay.
We didn't lose, therefore, to us, that's a victory.
Let's keep farming. Burning says, okay.
Let's keep farming.
Yeah.
Burning always says, let's keep farming. Until he doesn't, until he says, I'm going to come kill you.
Until game 2 Anti-Mage comes up and wins. So.
Then he goes full Dragon Ball Z mode on you.
Right, so.
He's not there yet, though. So what do you think he goes for here? Diffusal Blade?
I think you go defensive, right? So Manta style is kind of it.
Okay. Manta, yeah, gives you some extra HP. It's definitely a tankier item.
I mean, it doesn't actually do anything in terms of, let's say,
damage output.
Yeah, it doesn't get you away from the Naga Terror.
Lasso again, Super. He thought it was safe to leave his base, and he was very, very wrong. Now he's low, and now he's dead. And with that kill, there's still an Aegis up on Loda. Now there's a Reaver, and the Alliance will go again. Is there a buyback here on the Alk? There is, but even just forcing out, no. On to QQQ they go. If they get more kills, that could be it. Haunt baited out. Now the Song completely counters it. Nothing here for Burning, and they get a kill as well with the Illuminate, canceling the Song at the last second.
Here comes our teamwork. Finds EGM. Can he make it out loud? Trying to cast everything, but there's no cast when Rocket Barrage, or excuse me, the battery assault's on you. Now they're going to go for a little bit more chase. I think DK should disengage. Trade it 1-for-1 after a buyback.
Can I just say that teamwork between Aka and EGM, they have a mind meld going. Ending the Song at the last possible second so the Illuminate does damage instead of not affecting you. They get a kill. They do lose their Naga in the end, but hey, they still have Aegis. They've got it for a minute or two here, and Alliance still. It's just that one convincing fight they need. Haunt is down. Do they just go mid as soon as this respawn comes from the Naga?
I mean, I'm not sure whether they can break it. DK somehow holding each and every time. I mean, they are losing.
Look at the graphs. Like,
right.
They're still falling behind.
Look, I mean, when you're playing Spectre, you toss out the graph. It says, forget the graphs. I'm Spectre. I have Radiance.
I have Radiance.
I mean, I've seen this here historically 4 or 5 years of seeing this particular hero, she could just somehow give you those question mark team fights.
Not again. DK, they can't keep on getting picked up. Die on the run, but he gets caught by the lasso. S4 is literally everywhere. So too is Loda, pulled back in, and now the Alliance with that pickup, and with QQQ, he's got a gem and he's going to die. No way out against S4. Dropping in a hurry. There could be a mech from Super. It'll buy him some time. Actually going to live. Wow, nice defense. They find the kill. No, Loda's not done yet. That illusion's tanky.
The micro, the flame break. Oh my god. Are we going to see a Prophet TP?
But doesn't matter. Straight into mid. There's no haunt here for Burning. 20 seconds off. The glyph. Burning TP's in as well. He gets Lance. He's driven back. Bulldog's now got an MKB. And with the glyph down and no haunt up, this could be the Rax. Now they net him. Will they go on him? There's no lasso. For now, just focusing him. The illusions are really hurting Burning. Driven back, he wants to defend. Super goes in, stuns himself, and now he's in a whole world of trouble. Son on, son off, and Alliance
he's got buyback, he's got hot. Here we go, Burning's coming back, he gets 1 kill. He's looking for more. Burning in the middle team fight, he gets focused, he's gotta survive. There's nothing else if he dies. QQQ getting focused, he's trying to run. QQQ also goes that Burning's netted. They're gonna focus him down. The last hope for DK, just no. Yes, he dies. Yes, he dies.
In the end, there is only the Alliance unstoppable. They march down the middle lane. Rax will fall. Burning bought back. Triple kill for Bulldog. Absolutely crushing performance. And DK will tap out. And the Alliance are guaranteed a top 3 finish at the International 3. You can take a game off them, but good luck taking a series.
I'm just lost for words. DK play well enough to hold on, but you just cannot stop this push. They repelled it once, twice, 3 times.
Last year, DK made a pretty deep run through the lower bracket. They do drop down here, but there's a lot of teams who won't be happy to face them. Not that they would have been happy to face the Alliance. And the Alliance, the crowd's on their feet. They get a standing ovation from the crowd. They deserve it. It was a very impressive performance. And now, let's throw it back to James and the rest of the analysts.
Alliance with a 2-1 victory. It looked like it was going their way from the very get-go, really, that one. The farm on Loda's PL compared to Burning on the Spectre. They were just constantly getting ahead. But what have you guys got to make of the whole series, or at least the last game?
I mean, even before that, I think the draft was a little bit weak for DK. It was extremely greedy, going for a Spectre and an Alchemist, and they punished that with the PL and Caudle in the triple lane. Burning almost died. He got a flask off, but he just got his farm off a little bit too late. There were just way too many items on the side of Alliance.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of the element of surprise, but first picking a Spectre and then follow up with an Alchemist just seems a bit overboard. Just like with Alliance last game, going for when they went with DK and Alchemists, I sort of feel like the same thing happened for DK this time around when they went for Alchemist and Spectre. You end up with 2 melee carries that don't really offer anything to each other. I would have preferred seeing a different pick than the Alchemist so that DK could actually fight them throughout.
It's all about finding the farm when you're playing an Alchemist. Even if you put him in the 2 position in the middle, you expect him to eventually catch up and get something. But when you're playing with Burning, Burning has this ability to rotate all through the lanes and get the most out of it. So Super was kind of having it hard to actually get something going for him. And with Bad Rider there, all the pickoffs, every single time someone went to farm alone, there was S4 jumping there, getting the kill over and over and over. And when you're playing Spectre, you kind of expect to have to turtle a little bit because that hero goes online after 40-50 minutes.
Unless you play super aggressive with it. As we've seen some teams really just utilize Spectre where they just pawn in, get kills, and then go back to farming and just have the upper hand from the get-go. Because it's one of those carries that can actually participate in everything. But yeah, like you were saying.
Yeah, in this case it was like that, and you can't really turtle against a Bad Rider with all those items. Because once you're in the base, he will always jump there with BKB, blink inside, force stuff out, get someone, and when you're fighting 5v4, there's no Spectre to save you.
All right, and we can actually go to Casey right now, who's with Aki, and then we can come back and talk a little bit more about the game. But let's see what Aki's got to say.
All right, yes, he is here with me now. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So I have to go back to the second game and ask, I mean, you guys have been undefeated right up until that game. What happened?
The game went pretty wrong from start. They were able to win fights when they didn't even have the, anti-mage with them in the fights. So it was really hard for us to come back. We managed to win a couple of fights, but yeah.
Did that affect your confidence going into the last game at all, or were you able to regroup?
It was kind of fine. Like, we won 16 games in a row, actually 17 with the first one, so it felt good, especially for the crowd, to get a really nice match, and all of the games were so even. So
I heard you got a standing ovation. Did you appreciate that?
what? Sorry.
You got a standing ovation. Everybody stood and clapped for you. Did you see that?
Yeah. I saw. Yeah.
Now, you and Loda, I understand, have been playing together for a really long time. What is that like to have that familiarity with each other, and how were you able to incorporate the other 3 players on the team into that?
It's just great to have such a good friend with me all the time when I go play and stuff. So, and I think it's well, the rest, like, they fit really well into the team as well. So you don't really notice that me and Loda have known each other for so long. It's just like we have a really great team with 5 and really nice big family.
Any preference between Navi and Tong Fu?
I would say Tong Fu, because we faced them during the group stage and beat them 2-0, so yeah.
Well, we'll find out in just a few moments. I also understand it's a very important day. Would you like to say happy anniversary to anyone?
Yes, happy anniversary to my girlfriend. We've been together for 10 years, and I know you are watching now, so I love you very much.
Aww. I had a few people on Twitter, they wanted me to ask, and you can say that this is too personal, that's fine, but they want to know what the secret is to staying with the same person for 10 years.
The secret is to have a really awesome partner that you always want to be with, which in my case is so then it's really easy.
Aw, how sweet is that? Who knew we were going to have a little moment? Thank you, and best of luck next time,
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, James.
Thanks, Casey and Aki, and yeah, let's get back to talking about mythical creatures killing each other. That would be great. No,
What a player.
Yeah, no, he is such a great guy, Aki, and really deserves to be in the upper bracket finals. And you could see all the moments that came out during the game in game number 3. And really, EGM set that up nicely, but you could see they were just too far ahead. And obviously, we mentioned before we want to see S4 on a different hero. You said Batrider or something like a Pug, but Batrider was a really good choice for this matchup. EGM again, just absolutely playing stellar. Ake, always on point. They had everything going for him in terms of the lineup.
How many 4-man, 5-man Illuminates he got there. Even the one where he clipped after the song, he was amazing, doing a lot of damage in all the team fights.
I think a lot of players in this tournament, if you asked them who the MVP so far would be, a lot of them would say Ake. And it's really nice to see that someone who's as good at the game is also such a nice guy in real life. There's some players that aren't always the smartest or the nicest guys, and Ake is the exact opposite. Super intelligent and super nice guy, and probably one of the best players.
And that's why he's got a girlfriend for 10 years.
Yeah, apparently.
But he hasn't managed to get married yet. So
Well, he's young.
how old is he? Like
25.
25.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I must have met at school. All right then, yeah. So I really shouldn't have brought that up. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him now. He's like, oh shit, not again. Let me just win the international first, like one thing at a time here. Yeah, so they've made it to the upper bracket finals. The next game we'll go to is going to be Na'Vi versus Tong Fu. Hopefully we can bring the brackets up at some point just to show you what's exactly going to be happening. And also, because it's worthy to mention, DK still in the tournament. They are going to get knocked down to the lower bracket. I think they will be waiting for the winner of, I want to say, Orange Fnatic.
I'm checking right now.
But I think I could be lying. I think it might be. I think it's TL, yeah, Invictus Gaming. So, is that a repeat performance from the group stages? If they go up against any of those 2 teams, I can check.
No, they're playing versus Fnatic versus Orange. The winner versus Fnatic Orange.
Oh, are they?
I have it right here. DK plays against the winner versus Fnatic versus Orange.
Yeah, and DK, did they beat Fnatic in the prelims? They did play.
Were they in the same group even?
Yeah,
Yep.
DK and
Okay.
Fnatic were in the same group. I don't recall
I think it
the
was
result,
even
though.
1-1. I
think it was
here.
1-1.
I like the way I'm asking questions that we have to scramble over now.
Yeah,
we're
now we have to
getting
do
in
some
there. It's
research.
like a research group.
I'm just staying out of it.
Hey, we saw.
Yeah, they went 0-2 versus DK. My stat book never lies. They lost 2-0 versus DK.
Yeah, so if that's going to be a repeat performance,
We'll see.
yeah,
It's a best of 1 this time.
this is true. This is true. And we've got a couple of best of 1s coming up. Orange versus Fnatic, which you mentioned. TL versus IG. I was in the player area.
No, I'm lying. It's a best of 3. Orange versus Fnatic is a best of 1.
Oh, that is a best of 3.
That
but
is a best of 3.
Yeah, it's making, to be able to fit everything in today, we got 2 best of 1s in the lower bracket.
Right.
Closing my eyes, concentration face. 2 best of 1s in the lower bracket, and then the next round is going to be a best of 3, but we play the first map of each game, and then we come back tomorrow and play the remaining either 1 or 2. Doesn't that sound exciting, Ben?
Yeah, so 8 to 10 games, I think, each day?
Yeah.
That's very strange, though, playing... I mean, how do you feel about that, Jacob? Like,
do you mean playing 1 game of a best of 3 and then taking a pause?
On LAN. I think it's maybe okay online, but...
I don't really like it all too much. I think it sort of gives the loser an edge. Go back, look at their mistakes. What did we do wrong? What did they do right? Prepare for it. Whereas the winning team is just happy. Hey, everything went according to plan. Let's just do this again. So, well, I'm a bit torn on it. I like that we get a lot of games and that they're spread out on the days, but I prefer playing the match to an end.
Yeah, but it's also an even kind of way to go into the match as well. Like both teams get the same treatment in the same round, if you know what I mean. And they play the same day, the same amount of games, and then the next day they also play the same. And that's, of course, where DK are. They're in the lower bracket. So if you're rooting for them, you're going to be able to see them a little bit later. But a team that a lot of people are rooting for to make the winner bracket finals are one of the teams, who are going to be playing next, and that's, of course, Na'Vi.
I'm joined now by Dendi with Na'Vi. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Are you tired after the last couple of days? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, thank you.
I noticed your family's here. They've been roaming around. Are you excited to see the documentary, and how are they feeling about seeing it as well when we show it tomorrow night?
Oh yeah, we're all pretty much excited to see it, actually, yeah.
Do you notice how much the crowd goes nuts for you and Na'Vi? Do you feed off of that energy pretty well?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a great feeling. It's just, you can't find it anywhere else, yeah.
Well, we're excited to have you in Seattle. What are your thoughts going up against Tong Fu?
Oh, we have a lot of thoughts, yeah. We have a lot of different plans, how it will go, and I hope you will enjoy it.
I think we will, definitely.
Yep.
Thanks for chatting with us. Good luck, Dendi.
Thank you.
Clement Ivanov, Puppy, Estonia, Tartu.
Alexander Dashkevich, Hvost, Kiev, Ukraine.
Kuro Zalei Takhazomi, Kuroki, Berlin, Germany.
Gleb Lepatnikov, Fanik, Kharkiv, Ukraine.
Danil Shutin, Dendi, Lviv, Ukraine.
Na'Vi, 2011 champions, and they've got a run to the finals here, and they could do it. We'll see if they can. Got to take down their first opponents, though, in just a moment, which will be Tong Fu in the best of 3. Hvost, Kurokai, Puppy, Dendi, and Funnick. So it is a slightly different team, but they've got some of the cores still in there, and they're very scary. You know, the Na'Vi story hasn't really come up a lot because obviously they played on the first day. They did have all yesterday off, and now they play today. So they should be really well rested and also well prepared. What do you think they're going to bring to this match?
A little stat on Dendi. Whenever he says in a pre-match interview, when he says, "I hope you'll enjoy," that means they're going to pick Pudge.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm expecting a Pudge to be picked in this series. Na'Vi likes to play aggressive, and they don't mind putting on a show despite playing with everything at stake, basically. And they've been down this road before. They've won TI1 with the Pudge pick. They've played Pudge at TI2 as well, and they went into the grand final. I think we can very well expect the Pudge pick to come out of them. It wouldn't surprise me the least bit, the way they utilize it. And I'm just very excited about this matchup. Tong Fu was my favorite team from China going into this tournament, and I'm going to have a really hard time predicting a win on this.
I mean, along with the Pudge, they utilize Potom a lot on Funnick, too. Funnick usually does this trick with the Ancients where he buys Quelling Blade on Windrunner, Priestess of the Moon. I think he's even done it with Tinker, perhaps, and just jungles at level 1. Sometimes he goes on the Dire side, he cuts the trees on top of the cliff in the middle camp, and on the Radiant side, he cuts the trees around the Ancients and creeps those. And a lot of teams have been trying to mess with him because 3 heroes can easily zone him out in the lane, but it's really difficult to contest that sort of position. You have to like run uphill most of the time, and then your mid hero can rotate. And we see teams trying to ward it, but Funnick still usually tries and find some sort of farm. So I hope that Tong Fu has a solution for this.
Bruno, what can you tell us about Na'Vi so far?
Well, we were talking about Dendi so far. We had an interview with him, and I decided, okay, this player is kind of good, right? So I'm going to check how good he is. And just to give you an idea of heroes in general, the hero with the highest global win rate in the game in all professional tournaments is Wisp with 59% win rate. So 59% of the time Wisp wins. So I got Navi's all of the heroes that are above 20 games. So he played 20 or more games with. We have Puck, 84% win rate. Queen of Pain, 74% win rate. Templar Assassin, 75% win rate. Patch, the fan favorite, 77% win rate. And he's really a noob at Storm with only 73% win rate. Those are his heroes. Those are the heroes he normally play. How do you beat the odds when he's so good?
I mean, sometimes they do draft him a Beastmaster, a Dragon Knight he's been playing a lot recently, and his Magnus too. And those are kind of weaker. S4 has sort of the same thing. I said I think S4 is a better Magnus, but if then he gets one of those heroes, his Puck is phenomenal. I think they can. It plays very well into their playstyle too. Flashy plays, he kind of baited out a lot of spells, and early aggression.
All right, well, we'll see what they're going to be able to get, but of course their opponents are the ones that are going to decide what heroes they're going to want to remove from Na'Vi, and their opponents for this match are Tongfu.
And we're back with our friend Josh, and we're talking to King J of Tongfu ahead of your match with Na'Vi. How are you feeling right now?
问你打 Na'Vi 之前感觉如何？
感觉非常好，因为今天精神状态跟之前的病都已经完全消除了，所以今天状态非常好。
He says they feel really good, especially because earlier they had some sicknesses and whatnot, but today they've got past all that, so all of them, they feel in top shape.
You've been playing the game for many years now, and I'm curious what it feels like as a player to see Dota play get to this level, and not just with the international, but all over the world with so many people watching and playing.
说你作为一名比较资深的选手，然后能看到 Dota 2走到今天这个地步，就是全球这么多观众来看你们比赛，感觉如何？
感觉非常棒，因为之前的话，可能 Dota 1在国内可能会受关注度比较多一点，但 Dota 2的话，让我们中国的选手在世界上有更多的机会展露自己，所以我觉得非常棒。
He says, feels great. It's awesome to see that people all over the world are watching, and especially in China. Maybe in the past, more people focus on Dota 1, but with Dota 2, people in China are starting to pay attention too, because it's given Chinese players and teams such a huge stage to show themselves.
That's great. King J, thank you, and good luck today.
王娇 ，banana， 中国开封。
陈志豪，好，中国广州。周洋 ，King J， 中国上海。
张盼，木，中国武汉。
王兆辉，山生，中国湖南。
Tongfu, one of the teams representing China here, and so far they've had a great tournament, but let's talk about last year as well. Last year they actually finished up in 7th, 8th place, actually losing to DK, so already being in the upper bracket semi-finals, they've surpassed last year's performance, so they are definitely a better team this year already. If I was a new viewer and I didn't know much about Tongfu, because I don't watch the BTS stream, you know, because it's just amateur hour over there. You know, what would you want to be able to tell me about Tongfu going into this match before we throw it to the game?
Do you want to take that one, Ben, or should I?
You can go for it.
Well, Tongfu is really, really good in utilizing melee initiate heroes such as Panda, Clockwork Goblin. We've seen the jungler Doombringer a lot as well, and those are some of the things that makes them stand out. They really, really want to put on a lot of aggression. We've seen a lot of these Chinese teams put a lot of emphasis on melee strength initiators, and that's something Tongfu just does really well.
Okay. Well, that's sums it up pretty nicely for us, because actually the bans and picks are already on the way. So we're throwing straight to the game. So this is the other upper bracket semi-final match. The winner of this will play Alliance. That will be, I believe, for tomorrow. But it's a huge game. A lot on the line. It's a best of 3. It's Tongfu versus Na'Vi. Best of luck to both teams. Over to the hall for the game.
Na'Vi versus Tongfu.
Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. We're back for our second series of the day here at the International 2013. A best of 3 on the way in the upper bracket semifinals, Rascal. We have been looking forward to this. You and I talked about it coming in, the possibility of these two teams meeting on this stage like this. Of course, the winner will advance to meet Alliance in the upper bracket finals. Tongfu, one of the biggest dark horses in the entire tournament, a team that for the most part has flown under the radar a little bit, but extremely talented, and now facing their toughest test in Na'Vi.
I can't wait for the match personally. And the thing about watching Na'Vi is unpredictability. You never really know what they're going to be bringing to the table, but Tongfu have kind of been feeling the same way. They've had some unconventional picks themselves, so both teams kind of well-versed, at least in terms of flexing their draft capabilities here so far at TI3. But Na'Vi, they start off with a Chen and a Rubik, so Kuro is going to get one of the heroes that he is absolutely famous for, and I don't know about you, but I love watching him play this hero.
Oh, man. Whenever you see Kuro on Rubik, he plays Rubik just a different way. It's something you can't quite put your finger on. He just has such a sense of the hero. He's always in the right position, and the way he builds the Rubik